What is your American dream?
My American dream would be to end school mass shootings.
My dream for America is peace. I've been wanting that like all the time.
Dream America is toys.
My American dream is to become a professional ballerina.
My dream for America is everyone could have fireworks everywhere since some people can't see the fireworks from here.
My dream for America is for people to understand how this country was brought about, make the American dream possible for all citizens.
My dream for America is a unified country.
My dream for America is to nurture young entrepreneurs, especially in the minority community. We need to strengthen the economic power in the Afro-American community.
My American dream is what I'm living right now every day, and that's to enjoy my family, my friends, and my coworkers every day, and get involved in my community and do my best to be the change that I see that needs to be.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. It's another week. It's Friday, August 28th. In the year 2020, 2020 will be going down in Uncle Brad's history of his life as the worst year. But hopefully, it starts getting better, not only for me, but most importantly for everybody out there as well. We're getting into the fall. We're going to have a presidential election. Hopefully we get rid of the pumpkin right after Halloween. But right now, I got to introduce to you Yo-Yo and Ness-quick, also known as Dr. Love, and Vanessa, also known as... What else are you known as? Yonathan.
Boss lady.
Boss lady. A boss lady. That's right. You are boss lady. I forgot.
Brad, that was a good one.
I forgot.
Get rid of the pumpkin after Halloween. That was a good one.
You like that? Get rid of the pumpkin right after Halloween. And look at that. Yonathan is already in his orange. He is ready. He is ready to take over.
I'm ready to get him out.
You're ready to take over the role of the pumpkin. After November 6th, we're going to need a new pumpkin.
If Yonathan wasn't so fashionable, we would say this could look like a jail cell outfit.
It did
but
a little bit. It did look like it was standard.
It must be a crime to look that good, brother.
It did look like it was standard jail attire you got going there, but I know you are in apartment A, and that ain't no jail. That is a palace where you are.
Right.
A palace. Right. I remember when he got apartment A, he was so excited.
So excited, man. It's beautiful now. You guys have to come over.
His friends came over for a party right before quarantine. And they never left. They would never leave that apartment. You know, once you storm apartment A, you never leave.
Exactly. It's like just sucks you in.
All right, let's say hello. Let's say hello to the squad. It is Friday. And Tamika Nelson saying, hey, y'all. First in the comments on Facebook, saying, hey, also to Brad, Yo-Yo, and Ness-quick. Dion Reed, squad up. Elizabeth Francis, Christy Kinsali, Dion Reed, how are you? Myrtle Ray. And who else do I see here? Elizabeth Francis, how are you? Clifford Gordon, he's been watching every day. Joyce Henry, squad up. Sasha Ford, squad up. Jessica Leamy, how are you? Paulette Bryce Cameron says it's Friday. Brad, Ness-quick, Yo-Yo, welcome. Nice to see your smiling faces. I got to learn to read. Jessica Leamy, double fisting on YouTube. Isila Enot, Squad Up, Sexy Shan Myers, Ja Love, Life of a New Mom, Sasha and AJ Ford. I guess Sasha and AJ Ford had a baby. Congratulations. Sus Cool, or Sukul, Suskul, maybe. Good evening, everybody. Mr. Skyline retracting messages. He says his American dream is to make millions of dollars. That's a lot of people's American dreams. And Angela Rawlings, Squad Up. Daniel K, Squad Up. Yonathan, Yo-Yo, Elias, Boss Lady, Vanessa, Ness-quick, Contreras. You start off, Boss Lady. Why don't you tell everybody what they need to do? Let's change it up a little bit. Let's change it up a little bit.
We're switching it.
Switching it up. It's
Go
Friday.
talk.
It's Friday. Keeping you on your toes.
Okay, friends, so you already know the spiel on YouTube. So on YouTube, you should already be subscribed to our channel. Make sure that you turn on that notification bell, and right below you'll see an arrow that is directing you to share. So let's do a great job and use that arrow and direct this live stream to just about anywhere. Once you click that share arrow, it'll ask you if you want to send it as a text. Copy the link, share it on WhatsApp, on Twitter, on Facebook, on all of your social media platforms. When you share Brad Show Live, it only makes our community that much bigger. So you never know, when there's so many people out there that don't even know that this show exists, and you guys, Squad, do know all the value and the knowledge that Brad brings to us on here. So let's get those thumbs up rolling too, making sure that you're liking what's happening here. It lets YouTube know that there's great things happening in this space. We're also on Instagram at Brad Show Live. Make sure that you follow us there. You can also send your questions into our DM there, and we will answer them during social media check-in. Okay, you guys, so make sure that you follow us there and that you're keeping track of things on Instagram, where every now and again, we even host a contest. So you want to be a part of us on all social media platforms. Yo-Yo, what do we have to do on Facebook?
All right, I think it's because Brad said that I was the new pumpkin. They try to mess up my connection. All right, so I need everybody on all social media sites to first, please, become a Brad Squad member. It's a VIP page. It is the Brad Squad on Facebook. It's so easy to do. All you have to do is go to the search engine and put in Brad Squad, and then you will become a VIP member. And the most important thing that you get with that is you can throw your question in anytime throughout the day. I know a lot of you guys are busy. You might miss the mark of putting your questions in for social media questions, but if you go and join this page, you can put this in anytime throughout the day before the show, and we will ask the first 5 questions before any of the social media questions. All right, now, first things first, of course, with Facebook, we need you guys all to share. You already know how important this is. I cannot stress enough how important this is, because this is the way we get the show out to the entire world. You guys know so many people, and people that know you know other people. Let's make this ripple effect. All right, so I need you guys to share. All you have to do is click the little arrow that's pointing to the right that says share, and you could share it to people's pages. You could share it in the inbox. Could do very personal. Just hit somebody up and say, hey, I think that you guys can benefit from this, or I know that you're going through this. This show will help you. Send it to your friends and family. Like, tell them to send it as well. All right, put all your questions and comments in the comment section right now. You know, we love the interaction. All right, now, this is what we all have been waiting for. This is where we smooth with Brad.
All right, today, tens of thousands of people marched in Washington, D.C., and virtually as well, for a civil rights rally dubbed the Get Your Knee Off Our Necks March. It happened on the 57th anniversary of the historic March on Washington in 1963, when Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous I Have a Dream speech. I don't believe that that is a coincidence. Reverend Al Sharpton and civil rights groups organized the march following the death of George Floyd, who was killed after a now-fired Minneapolis police officer knelt on Floyd's neck. King's eldest son, Martin Luther King III, and relatives of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Eric Garner, Jacob Blake, all participated. King III delivered a fervent speech that demanded real, lasting structural change. He added, if you're looking for a savior, get up and find the mirror. Very, very, very powerful. Democratic vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris made a virtual appearance in which she encouraged participants to learn from the work of civil rights leader John Lewis. Lewis was inspired to pursue justice in the wake of the lynching of Emmett Till, the 14-year-old Chicago boy killed in Mississippi 65 years ago. Kamala Harris said, as John put it, Emmett Till was my George Floyd. He was my Rashard Brooks, my Sandra Bland, my Breonna Taylor. Among the demands from protesters were police reform and protections for minority voters. Did you get a chance to check it out at all, guys?
Yeah. I actually was supposed to be going to this march. I went to the 50th anniversary because that's when I was living in DC, and I was supposed to go today with all my friends. They're all there, my frat brothers, but I ended up not going because, you know, it's wild out there.
Because you got to work. But I would have let you off. I don't know what else you had.
No,
going on.
I
would have let you go. If you
I
called me up and said I want to go to the march, of course I would say, of course, go.
No.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't the reason why I didn't go. It was schedule conflicts because I was actually going to tell you guys if I did go that I would have had a camera crew already ready to
cover it.
Take some pictures. It would have been amazing. But yeah, and what John Lewis was saying about that Emmett Till story. If anybody does not know exactly who Emmett Till is, please go and research the story. You will literally want to pull your eyes out of your socket. It is insane. And the fact that this is a true story and it was not that long ago. It happened to an innocent 14-year-old who had a stuttering problem. So like real quick, he went down south. He's from like the Midwest or like Chicago area. He went down south to visit his family. His mother didn't really want him to go, but he wanted to visit his cousins and stuff. So he went there. He has a stuttering problem. So every time he gets stuck in a stuttering problem, and I have a small stuttering problem, so I resonated to this. He has to whistle whenever he starts stuttering, and then it like resets everything. So when he was standing outside of a market, a white lady walked by and he started stuttering when he was talking to his cousins, and he whistled, and people thought that, I guess, that he was trying to talk to the white lady. So her family members came to the house that he was staying at with his uncle and his cousins at the middle of the night and stole him, kidnapped him, and beat him so bad and shot him in the first, before they shot him, they cut off like his tongue, cut off his ear, pulled out his eye, shot him in the head. The fact you could not even recognize his face. And there, you can Google it and you will see the before and after of what this young boy, innocent young boy, went through. And the lady who accused Emmett Till of doing this just passed away within the past like 5 or 6 years, I think. And she, on her deathbed, said that she felt bad because she lied.
Well, it's a little late. Yep. A little late on her deathbed. She doesn't get a pass because she says it on her deathbed, and that is an absolute true story, Yo-Yo. And thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah, I want everybody to research, man. Like, you know, they're not throwing out these names for anything. That was so powerful for John Lewis to say that Emmett Till was our George Floyd, our Sandra Bland. And I love that he said that because now the younger generation who might not know even the older generation who might not know the story will go and actually research it. It shows that, like he said, if you're looking for a change or somebody to make a change, go find the nearest mirror. It starts with us.
That's exactly it, because if you accept it and you take it, then nothing ever changes. And sometimes you know, as John Lewis said, sometimes you got to cause some good trouble. You got to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, yesterday was the fourth and final night of the Pumpkin National Convention. I mean the Republican. Oh, I can't even read this. I thought it said Pumpkin National. The Republican National Convention, and Trump officially accepted his party's nomination to be the Grand the president, in one of the longest convention acceptance speeches ever delivered, 70 minutes. By the way, Biden's acceptance speech for the Democratic nomination, 25 minutes. Trump warned the country would be taken over by violent anarchists, agitators, and criminals if Joe Biden were to win in November. Because Trump can't campaign on, look at the economy. He can't campaign on, look at how great I did with coronavirus and managing a pandemic. The only thing he can campaign on is fear, getting people angry and fearful of appropriate change. But as Biden himself had pointed out, the violence we're witnessing is happening under Donald Trump. It's not happening under Joe Biden. Now, Trump claims he has done more for Black Americans than any other president, glossing over the most recent issues of systemic racism that have sparked nationwide protests. I don't recall him mentioning anything about what's going on in Wisconsin through 4 days of the convention. I don't remember the word George Floyd coming out of his mouth. I don't remember him saying that we have a problem with race in America. On the coronavirus, Trump falsely claimed that the United States had developed the largest and most advanced testing system anywhere in the world, even though America is far behind other developed countries. And you want to know why I know that? Because I recently took a coronavirus test when my son was traveling international. He came back, and we as a family all decided to go take a coronavirus test. We went to the local city MD right here in New York. We waited online. We took our coronavirus test. Do you know how long it took to get the test back? Each doctor, you submit it to a laboratory. I mean, there's only 2 laboratories to go to. Do you know how long it took to get the test back?
It had to have been like over a week.
13 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So if it took 13 days, that was 3 weeks ago, to get a test back, why the hell would anybody go get tested? You already have coronavirus. You've given it to 10,000 people before you even find out if you have it. Oh, wait a second. No. But that, according to Donald Trump, is the largest and most advanced testing system anywhere in the world.
I'm wondering why you get the response faster, you get the results faster if you go to like one of these little corner free testing spots where the people are volunteering. You get it within like 2 to 3 days.
Well, it depends. In New York City, there's 4 ways you can get a quick corona test, or 4 ways you can get tested. You can go through the regular national laboratories, like what a city MD would do, whether it goes to Quest Labs or, it goes to Quest, the big national laboratories. And that's going to take 12, 13 days. And the reason is, not only do you have to have a test, but you have to have the liquid, and you have to have a glass vial, and you got to have a swab. And there's so much that goes into it. And they don't have the necessary materials to actually conduct a test, even if they got the test sitting there in the lab. That's one problem. Now, if you go locally, for example, in New York City has their own laboratory. So if you go to a New York City Health and Hospital Corporation hospital, New York City is not sending your test to a national lab. They're doing it locally here in New York City. That's a 5-6 day turnaround. They're still pretty slow. Then they have these spit in the cup and you get a result in 15-minute tests, but those are only about 80% reliable. So we don't really even know whether or not what you're getting as a result is accurate. Or lastly, you can just have money and pay doctors who somehow get to the front of the line and get your test result ahead of people who've been waiting 12, 13 days like myself. Or be, an NBA player who, they're getting tested, or NFL players are getting tested, and they're paying, these leagues are paying a substantial amount of money to have this all done privately. But, a regular person who goes and takes a test, you're waiting 12, 13 days.
Wow.
So, I don't know how this is the largest, most advanced testing system anywhere. Meanwhile, Herman Cain was trending on Twitter because 1,500 chairs were set up on the White House lawn for guests, but they were not 6 feet apart. They were 6 inches apart, if that. And it was certainly not following President Trump's own administration's guidelines for social distancing. And I saw one person in the crowd as it scanned, I watched on CNN, actually wearing a mask. Now, the reason Herman Cain was trending on Twitter was because he went to a Trump rally back in July in Oklahoma, you may remember. There were 6,000 people who attended this rally. Remember, Trump said 1 million people were going to come and 6,000 people showed up? Well, he attended Trump's campaign rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, despite concerns about crowding during the pandemic. And speaking about the lack of social distancing and face masks, this is a perfect example of what happened. And unfortunately, he died. Now, nobody knows for sure this is a picture of him at the Trump rally. Nobody knows certainly that he got coronavirus at this Trump rally, but it is as likely a place as he got it as anywhere else, because there were 6,000 people in this auditorium, and within 2 weeks of him being at this rally, he was hospitalized.
Yeah. And what's trifling is, this is how you know that they just be using black people to kind of get, the word out. They're still using his Twitter to like talk crap and like to still like, support Trump. It's wild.
Right.
It's like after he died.
Yeah.
They're still using it.
They don't care. There was I wonder what you guys think about this, because I don't know. I kind of sway back and forth, and I'm not sure what I think about it. And maybe you can tell me what you think about it and kind of sway my opinion, because I'm not sure which way it would go. Some of the black speakers at the Republican National Convention, there was an article in Politico, which is a liberal online magazine, and there was an opinion piece where the opinion writer said that the several black speakers that were brought up to speak at the Trump rally, they were basically props for Donald Trump. And Politico had a big backlash saying that that was bigoted and racist to say just because a black person stands up and speaks for Donald Trump doesn't mean that they're a prop. They may believe in what they're saying. So you can't just say it's a prop. Now, and it's funny because
I want to hear what you have to say.
Because when I read it, I said, yeah, of course they're props. But then after I heard, well, how do you call somebody a prop if they really believe this? They're not really a prop. It's not like, maybe they're not being used. Maybe they really believe this stuff. And I said, you know what? Then that's right, because I wouldn't want to be called a prop if I believe in something and I'm saying something on behalf of somebody. So then I kind of swayed back and said, maybe they're right. Maybe that was not a nice thing to say.
Or to assume, maybe, because I'm sitting here, Brad, and I'm thinking very similarly to you, because we see our truth of Trump, right? Where we're like, okay, he's a racist. He's constantly talking down and negatively on minorities. So for us, it's like, I can't see how this person is anything other than a prop, but we don't know what they believe in. We're just assuming.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find the lady that I can't find her name. I think that
Alice Johnson?
So Trump,
Alice Johnson, the woman who was
granted Alice Johnson.
Alice Johnson. She was sentenced. Let me just tell everybody who Alice Johnson is, and then you can comment, Yo-Yo. She is the woman sentenced to life in prison before being freed by Donald Trump in 2018, following the campaign spearheaded by Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. And then if you remember, about 2 years ago, they came to the White House, Kanye and Kim, and there was a picture and there was a love fest between Kanye, Kim, and Donald Trump. Well, this was the woman who Trump released from jail. She was in jail on a life sentence for a one-time conviction for possession and attempted sale of cocaine.
like 25.
Right. So she was never getting out for her first offense, possession of cocaine with attempt for a sale. That's what she was found guilty of. And she was released from jail. She wasn't pardoned. Her sentence was commuted, which basically says you did your sentence, now get out. You're done. You did your time, get out. And now Donald Trump today, because this woman Alice Johnson gave a speech at the Republican National Convention this week, gave her a full pardon. Now, Yo-Yo, you can
This
comment.
is a prop. This is an example of a prop. When you're talking about like the other, like Ben Carson or whoever, I agree. Let's not, say, oh, all black people are props. Some of them actually are Republicans. I actually know some black Republicans that support Trump, and they truly do. They know the policies. They feel like it works. So that's fine. But this is where I have a problem. Who in their right mind would not literally kiss the hands and feet of somebody who literally saved your life? She said the next time her family was supposed to see her alive was supposed to be in a casket. And she was like, well, listen, I'm not a ghost. I am here. Of course she's going to feel some type of way about Trump. Of course she's going to praise him. And that's where I have a problem, because he's taking advantage of people's innocent lives. I mean, she said she did something wrong. It was her first time. But I feel like, so she wasn't innocent, but I feel like, of course, she did her time for the crime. She should not have had a full life sentence plus 25 years. So he's taking advantage of her situation, her story, and using her. What would she look like if he asked her, can you speak at the convention, and she says no?
Right.
No.
What would it look like?
Right. He could even potentially withdraw his commutation and put her back in jail.
Easy.
Now that he gave her a pardon, he can't do anything to her anymore. But I was talking to Jill.
Still be scared.
I was talking to Jilly about this, and I said, do you really think they had the Republicans made a big deal about bringing up a lot of minority and black speakers and having the naturalization ceremony with people who obviously were minorities with brown and black skin at the White House? Do you really think he's going to convince minorities and black Americans to vote for him? And Julie said no. And then I said, I wonder if this is not to get black Americans to vote for Donald Trump. I wonder if he's doing all of this so the moderate voter who would normally say, the moderate white voter who would normally say, I can't vote for a racist. Of course I have to vote for Joe Biden. How could I vote for a racist? But then you see this woman come up. He gave her a pardon. He released her. You see Herschel Walker. You see the black congressman from Georgia, the state congressman from Georgia. You see the naturalization ceremony. You see Tim Scott from South Carolina. And then all of a sudden you say, well, this guy can't be a racist then. I can vote for him. What do you think of that? It's just kind of to soften his image so that moderate white voters can feel good saying they're not voting for a racist.
I mean, that would make sense. Like when this story was put onto a predominantly black social media website called The Shade Room, they all were just like, throw her back in. Like that, none of that is, fooling us. So right. I kind of would be surprised if these moderate voters would let him fool them like that, because you could literally see right through him.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
you can see right through it.
I agree. Even everybody was lying. Ivanka Trump praised her father's tenure in office, described him as a defender of common sense. A defender of common sense? Global warming. Right. Let me tell you some things Trump said. Tell me if any of this makes common sense. Global warming is a Chinese hoax. Inauguration crowd bigger than Obama's. Wind farms cause cancer. I'll look into an eclipse straight. I don't care if without any eye protection. Coronavirus will disappear on its own, just like magic. If you swallow bleach, you'll cure yourself of coronavirus. Maybe even if we put light in your veins, you'll cure yourself of coronavirus. You don't have to have any non-social distancing, unmasked crowd at a convention. It's perfectly okay to have an unmasked, non-socially distanced crowd at a convention. Don't worry, nobody will get sick. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Look at that. Look at what was at that convention.
The only smart person in the room.
We're at
The
Groundhog
only
Sam.
smart person in the room.
Groundhog Sam, the only Democrat, to appear at the Republican National Convention.
You know why he went?
Why?
You know why he went?
Why?
Because everybody else on the Brad Squad crew they declined all of the offers. We're like,
we weren't taking that gig, Brad.
we're like, we're not getting paid enough. Groundhog Sam was like,
All right, we'll talk about what's going on in Wisconsin another day. We got to get to immigration questions and you know, and I want to end our show. We like to have a little fun here. So let's do some fun Friday news before we get into our immigration questions. There was a 103-year-old Michigan woman. She was by the name of Dorothy Pollock. She got a tattoo, and she went on a motorcycle ride to celebrate the end of her COVID-19 quarantine. For her birthday, she treated herself after being cooped up under a coronavirus lockdown at her nursing home for months. Once she was able to get out, she decided she wanted to live life. So she got a big tattoo of a frog because frogs are the things she loves. She drank a beer, she ate a burger, and then she hopped on the back of her motorcycle and off she went. You know what? When I'm 103, I'm going to be that freaking crazy too.
I love that.
I'm going to be that freaking crazy too. Yes.
A vibe.
I love that.
That's a whole vibe.
And you know what's so funny? Like, you always hear when people, especially like me, because, you know, I'm obviously tatted up.
Right.
And all my older aunts, uncles, parents, they're always like, oh, what's it going to look like when you're older? Look at that.
Look at Granny.
Look
at Granny.
She got it when she old, so it's going to look exactly the same. She's smart.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I really don't know the answer to this. Boss lady. Tats?
I'm here. No tats.
No tats.
Not one.
Not one.
Not one.
Wow.
No. I want to get one now, but I
Really?
did beauty pageants for a very long time and a lot of commercial work and I also come from like a very traditional Dominican home. Yeah. So I had to wait until now that I don't live at my mom's house. To do
Why do you want to get one now? Just because you're wild and crazy?
Well, I feel really strongly about faith over fear. It's just something that like I just constantly remind myself every day. So like, why not get it tatted? What better way to remind yourself every day?
Why not? Do you know I've gone through 51 years of my life, never wanted a tattoo.
Never wanted one.
No.
I can relate to that though. I think now it's just part of like my swag, but I could literally go another 28 years without thinking about it.
Now, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was in college, I got an earring. And for about 6 months.
The Jordan hoop?
Yep,
little
Jordan hoop. You can see, if you come really close, you can still see. You can still see like a little, I don't know if you're not going to be able to see it now.
There they go.
No, get back. Back further. But look at that, you know, Julie, the TriCaster guy, like, let's see where the hole was.
He was quick with that.
But my parents, talking about, you know, conservative Dominican, conservative Jewish family, my father, when he found out I had a tattoo, and he says, when you come home from college, an earring, excuse me, when you come home from college with that earring, you're not allowed in the house if you still have that earring in your ear. So the day I came home for the summer, I took it off, the hole closed, and I never did it again. I had it for 6 months. But I had it for 6 months.
Listen, I don't know if my mom is watching, but the first time I said I wanted an earring, she was like, you could leave, because she was dropping me off to work at a theme park. And I was like, let me get out here then. So I walked out, I packed up my stuff and I ran away for a week.
You ran
in high school.
You ran away from Mama Yo-Yo for a week?
Yes, in high school, and stayed with my friends'
Did
family.
she know where you
And
were?
I went and got my earring.
Did she know
I'm
what-
so
did-
bad.
Did she know where you
Ugh.
were?
Too
I
scared.
hope my kids don't do this to me.
Did she know where you were, or she had no idea where you were?
She didn't know where I was for a little bit,
Oh
for a
my
couple
God.
days, and then like
Yo-yo.
For a couple
somehow
of
I think the mother called her, so she probably did, and she came a couple days later, and I was like, I'm not going. So I came back home with my earring, and she looked at me. She was like, "So this is it."
Yo-yo.
I had a so this is it. I had my
Bad.
belly button
So
pierced.
bad.
I went through that phase. I had my belly button pierced. And then when I did beauty pageants, it just didn't look good on stage.
Right.
So I had to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Like I'm over here checking to see if my mama's in the comments.
You know.
Sorry, mommy.
All right. Finally, Snoop Dogg. You know who this guy is?
What?
Yep. He's launched.
Of course,
He has
LBC.
launched,
That's Uncle.
He has launched a wine label, and the saying on the wine label says, "You are what you drink." It's now he's nearing his 50th birthday. The multi-platinum artist, he's developed a more subdued drinking habit. These days, Snoop's passing over to hooch in favor of some fine wine. A multi-year
it.
partnership with Australian wine brand 19 Crimes resulted in Snoop Cali Red, the label's premier California entry. Primarily a combination of Petite Syrah and Zinfandel with a splash of Merlot. It's surprisingly soulful and only offered at $12 a bottle. Snoop credits
Wow.
his friend, rapper Warren G, with introducing him to the world of wine. Warren G introduced him, actually, to Merlot. Says Snoop, "It just sounded expensive, so we started drinking that kind of red wine. We fell in love with it because it made us feel some kind of way about ourselves." So only Snoop could say something like that, right? He added that the
Right.
world of wine has a lot in common with the world of cannabis. And let's see why. Because it is always great conversation, peace, and good food. It's very social at the end of the day. That is very, very true. Although I do not like Merlot.
You know, yeah, I like Malbec.
I don't like.
I don't mind-
Malbec
I
is
don't mind
okay from
Merlot.
Spain. I don't like Merlot. I like a Cabernet Sauvignon, which is a much heavier wine.
I do like Cab.
Yeah.
Cab style. Yeah.
But a Malbec's okay. But I like a Cabernet Sauvignon.
I like Pinot Noir.
You-
But that's very smart on I used to work a lot with liquor distributions, and 12 Crimes was never a wine that like people, it kind of sold, but
Right.
not really. But now when you put Snoop
Snoop
Dogg's
Dogg.
face
Oh
on
yeah,
it,
I'm gonna buy it now.
They're
Me too.
actually
That's why I'm
really smart
saying.
because yeah, their marketing is really
Yeah.
smart. Even like with the older bottles, you can download an app for 19 Crimes, and if you you act like you're going to take a picture of the bottle, the mouth of the different gangsters actually speak, and it
Really?
like tells a whole story to you. It's weird. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Oh,
So
I didn't know
it
that.
makes sense to get Snoop with them.
I'm waiting for Snoop's, wine to come out with the CBD infusion.
Woo.
do
Keep
you
that
think?
away from me.
you
That's dangerous. I could see that happening.
I can see it happening though, right?
Yeah.
All right, that was our schmooze for the day on Friday. Why don't you tell everybody what they need to do while I get ready to answer their immigration questions?
Absolutely. All right, you guys. You already know what time it is. It's time to start your watch parties. It's so easy to do this. This is so easy, but it helps so much. It has such an impact. All you have to do is click share, more options, and start your watch party. Again, go to share. It should say go to more options, then start your watch party. It takes the video from our page to your page. You are the host. So make sure you let everybody know in the comments what the show is about, but make sure you also come back to the main page. Don't just stay in your comments. Come back to the main page and also go in the comments and tell them to come as well. All right? Please, we're still sharing. We're still sharing. This is the time that you also need to share because this is where we can have anybody and everybody to call in and get a free question answered by Brad. So they get their free advice right now. So I need you guys to share. Sharing is caring. Press that share button, share it to anybody's page, share it to an inbox, share it as a text message blast. You can copy the link, all right? Now, Ness-quick, what are we going to do on YouTube?
On YouTube, friends, you should already be subscribed to our channel. Make sure that you turn on that notification bell. And while you're there, make sure to give us that thumbs up by interacting with us that way, as well as in the comments. Make sure you leave your questions in the comments because we're getting ready for social media check-in a little later on. And I'm seeing over 100 viewers here on YouTube and not enough thumbs up. Right next to that thumbs up, you'll see a little arrow that's directing you to share. So let's do just that. Share this live stream right now. Let people know that Brad is about to answer your immigration questions live and for free. Who wouldn't want all this knowledge and value for free? Okay, so we're also on Instagram at Brad Show Live. Make sure that you follow us there, where you can also submit your questions for social media check-in. Reach us all the way that you can, you guys. We want to answer your questions, but we also want the squad to continue to grow. So let's share, letting people know that Brad is about to answer immigration questions, and there might be questions in there that someone you know needs the answer to, and you could be the source. So go ahead and start that watch party. Go ahead and share this live stream right now via WhatsApp, text, Twitter, Facebook, wherever it may be. But without further ado, let's get the answers to your immigration questions.
All right, let's go to Tamara in Dallas, Texas. Tamara, how are you?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Good. I have two questions. It's for my mom.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she was previously charged with conspiracy, and now she wants to go ahead and renew her work permit. And so she's worried that she'll be, maybe the case will be open again and they'll investigate her.
Why does she have a work permit?
Why does she have a work permit?
Yeah.
Oh, she's married, and that case has been pending, actually. So that was going to be my second question. The case has been pending for 3 years. They had to tell them to come for interviews 3 times, but it's been pending since then.
Tamara,
we don't hear anything.
If you have a guilty plea to conspiracy, it sounds like a drug offense, she's going to get deported. She's got a big problem.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's conspiracy to commit fraud or something. I can't even remember.
Usually when it's conspiracy, it's drugs. What I would need to do is have a private consultation with her, because it's extraordinarily sensitive to have a criminal case, a pending adjustment, because you're certainly not going to be eligible for a green card without a waiver, and you may not even be eligible for a waiver if you're an aggravated felon. So she needs a consultation. So hold on one second, okay? I wouldn't do anything until I speak to a lawyer. All right, let's go to Shanelle in Brooklyn. Shanelle.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Yes, but good evening.
Good evening.
I have 2 quick questions. My wife and I, we got married on September 21 of 2019, but we opened a joint account before she changed her last name. So she recently changed her last name, and we have an appointment coming up next month.
That's fine.
So
it's the same person.
That's not a cause for concern,
Not at
right?
all. No, same person. That's
It
fine.
still shows that we are living at the same physical address.
It shows you're living at the same address, and hopefully you're using that account and paying your bills out of it.
Yes.
That's absolutely fine.
Oh, and another question, quick question. At the time she filed her taxes, she filed it married, filing single, but we did an amendment.
That's also fine.
So is that fine?
That's also fine.
Okay.
You got bad advice from an accountant, and then when you discovered you got bad advice, you changed it.
Okay.
All right. Sounds 2 for 2 so far. That's it?
Yes, we have all the other supporting documents, pictures. Okay.
All right, let's go to Mohammed in Pennsylvania. Mohammed.
Yeah, hello.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm about to apply for my citizenship in like 3 months or 4 months, and I have a business, and I'm trying to apply for the SBA loan. You think that's going to affect my papers?
You have a citizenship and you want to apply for an SBA loan? You're applying for citizenship and also want to apply for an SBA loan. Is that your question?
Yeah.
It will not affect your papers at all.
It's no problem, but I have to apply for my citizenship like in 3 months or 4 months.
Applying for an SBA loan does not affect your citizenship in one bit.
Oh, you don't affect it at all?
Nope.
Oh, okay, thank you so much, Mr. Pratt.
All right, let's go to Elizabeth in Chicago. Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Quick question. My question is, my dad been in the United States for over, 40-something years, working and everything. So now he wants to do his citizenship. How do we
Wait, your dad's here for 65 years? And
I'm sorry.
And then what happened?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What you say?
I didn't hear what you said. I heard your dad's here for a very long time, but you want to start what
Yes,
process?
I'm sorry. Yes, my dad been here in the United States for over 40-something years. He's working, got Social Security, everything, but he never did his citizenship. He never did his citizenship.
Oh, so he can do it
now.
now?
He would like to do it.
Why not?
Huh?
Why not? Let's do it.
Oh, okay. So he could do it.
What's preventing him from doing it, or why do you have a concern about him filing for citizenship now?
Oh, well, because I guess my question was because I know everything has changed over the years. Like, for example, he was on my mom's benefits for over so long, with everything. But my mom passed away. So now he's getting, like, the Medicare or, like, the Medicaid disability.
That's perfectly
Would that
okay.
affect him?
Nope. All he has to do is prove 5 years good moral character, no aggravated
Oh, yeah.
felonies after November 1990, and he's up to date on his taxes. He's a good guy and knows how to read and write.
Okay. So
All right.
I don't need to do nothing on my end since I'm a citizen. I don't have to apply for him. He could do it on him. He could do it on himself.
He could do it by himself. Just fill out the form and send it in. If you need help, give me a call.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to George in Houston. George.
Yes.
Hi, George. How are you?
I'm fine. I got a question.
Yes.
First of all, I've gone for my interview last year. After my interview, I received a letter from the immigration that said intent to deny. And the letter was saying that my divorce was not, they don't think is correct.
Right.
So I spoke to my lawyer about it, and he asked me to reapply it again. I don't know if that is right, since the case is still pending.
Well, if you have a notice of intent to deny, why don't you prove that the divorce is real, if it's real?
Yes, I did that. I contacted the lawyer that did the divorce in Nigeria. So he sent me some paperwork, and I forwarded it to the USCIS, but...
Right. Yeah, USCIS is doing that with every divorce from Nigeria. They say it's not real. I've yet to see this year a real divorce. Immigration says, yeah, that's a real divorce from Nigeria. I've yet to see it. It's happening to every Nigerian who shows up in America with a divorce decree from Nigeria.
Okay, my second question is, if you're still married with your wife, can you reapply it again?
Yeah.
Or you need to divorce her?
No, you reapply again. No, you would reapply again. You don't divorce her.
Okay.
You can keep reapplying till you get it right. And I would fight, if that's a real divorce, I would fight it out with immigration.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. I just want to be sure of what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I'm calling.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
My
You're
pleasure.
doing a very nice job.
My pleasure. Okay.
You are.
Thank you. Let's go to Mary in Reading, Pennsylvania. Mary.
Hi, yes. I had a question.
Yes.
So I was put in removal proceedings back in 2016. My lawyer administratively closed my case so I can adjust status. I got the I-130 approved. Then he put in my adjustment of status through USCIS. They administratively closed my case because I am still in removal proceedings.
Correct. He did it wrong.
Now,
as soon as you told me that, I'm shaking my head. No. You have to. What he needed to do was, after it was administratively closed, make a motion to recalendar the case, put you back on the calendar. Administratively closed means you don't have another hearing. Okay, so then you make a motion to recalendar. You get back on the judge's calendar. He gives you a hearing. You say to the judge, here's the I-130 approval. And then at that point, the judge will say, adjustment terminated. Now go file your adjustment at Federal Plaza or wherever you are in Philadelphia. Or the judge will say, I'm going to do the adjustment myself. And most judges are doing it themselves these days.
Okay, so he put that in. Now he told me that he had put in to the courts to reopen my case and also to terminate my stuff. Now I don't have a court date until June of 2021, but my employment authorization expires in February of 2021. So how can I renew that without having a pending application?
Well, that's a problem. You could ask.
Yeah.
You have to ask your lawyer now to ask for an earlier date. You shouldn't have to wait a year to adjust your status.
Okay.
So you ask
All
to
right, then.
recalendar again. All right. Or it
Okay.
doesn't seem like your lawyer knows what he's doing. But give me a call if you want.
That's what I figured. Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's go to Peter in Chicago. Peter. Peter.
Yeah,
Hi.
I'm good. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, please, I'm a bit confused. I filed for VAWA in 2017, August precisely, and this year I was, last month, so they sent me a C31 EAD.
That means your
Meanwhile,
VAWA.
I had already applied for a renewal.
That means your VAWA was approved.
It was?
Yes. If you get a C31 EAD, you have a work permit and it says C31, that means your VAWA is approved.
Wow. Then
Congratulations.
that was a renewal I made in April. Yesterday, they told me a card has been equally sent to me. Is it possible to send 2 EADs to me?
Yes, one based on the adjustment and one based on an approved I-360. It happens.
Wow, I didn't know that information because I couldn't reach out my lawyer since this COVID. Then my question is, how long do you think it will wait for the green card? Because the whole papers was filed concurrently.
Where do you live? In Chicago? When was
Yes,
when
Chicago.
so you got to figure 8, 9, 10 months from the time your I-360 is approved. I don't know when your I-360 was approved.
Okay, that was I wouldn't know, but this came in July. That was in July
Okay,
24th.
so I don't figure maybe it was approved in May or June, so probably by the end of the winter.
Wow.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're very
Thank
welcome.
you
Good luck.
so much. I've been following your program. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Let's go to Jesse in West Palm Beach, Florida. Jesse. Hi, Jesse. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
What's going
I
on?
have a simple question. I got an orange the note from USCIS courtesy letter that says I didn't do my medical. So my question is, when am I supposed to do it? Am I supposed to do it now and send it, or am I supposed to wait until the interview? It's based on a
wait.
approved VAWA.
Wait for the interview.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Grace in Los Angeles. Grace. Grace.
Hello.
Hi, Grace.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good. My question is, it's not a question. I'm just telling you my situation right now. I arrived on a K1 visa with my daughter on August 29, 2019. We got married before 90 days. We didn't file the AOS before because it's not enough money. We don't have enough money.
You got
Currently,
married.
I'm out of
One second,
status.
Grace, you're breaking up. But you got married within the 90 days of coming on the K1.
Yes.
Okay. Where are you from?
Correct. California.
I know from California. Because
Philippines.
Where?
Philippines.
Oh, Philippines. Okay. So so what happened with the marriage? What's going on?
We're currently filing for AOS, and I got stuck in I-64 because my husband's income is not enough. We're short $6,500.
Right. So get a second one from somebody else.
And we don't have a co-sponsor right now. And my question is, my husband has a gold and silver collection.
You're
Would
breaking
that
up.
be
You got Grace. You got to take a step somewhere because I'm not hearing you. You have a bad connection.
Okay. So my husband has a gold collection. Will
Has a
that
gold
cover
collection?
Gold, yeah, gold.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to use a gold collection. You're not going to bring like a leprechaun, like when I was, look at my pot of gold, and I'll go to the immigration. Yeah, how are you going to prove you're not going to bring your gold, and, I think just get a second, you're going to need to get a second affidavit of support, Grace, honestly. It's not going to work otherwise, if you're short. The gold collection's not going to do it. I don't know what happened to Grace, but she needs a second affidavit of support. Oh, look at my pot of gold here. I don't need an affidavit of support. All right, let's go to Jacob in Riverside, California. Jacob. Is it me? Or are we having problems with the phone? Jacob.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
I have a question because well, I went to my interview and now I received a notice that I-130 is approved.
Right.
But I already got I-130 approved long time ago, and now I got the same letter. Is that normal?
Why did you get a second approval? That doesn't make sense. Is it the same case number with the same priority date?
Yeah, because my I-130 was approved, and then I got my work permit, and now it's approved after interview. I thought after interview you just get approval on the I-585.
Did you file an I-130 and had it approved before you filed the adjustment?
Yes, I think my I-130 was approved already.
Who sponsored you? Who sponsored you?
My wife.
Well, they didn't know it was a bona fide marriage, so what they're saying now is you have a bona fide marriage.
Oh, so they pre-approved it before and now approved it.
Yeah, I guess that's what it sounds like to me.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. Huh. Only 10 calls today. We usually do 15, 16, 17 calls. Only 10 today. Sometimes even 18, depending on how fast they go. Nobody's there. Let's see if somebody shows up after this education where I answer the question, what is a sanctuary city? A sanctuary city is a city in which the local government promises not to hand you over to the Department of Homeland Security just because they discovered that you're here out of status or illegal. So for example, if you get pulled over for a simple traffic offense and you get a speeding ticket and you are told to show up to court for the speeding ticket, in a sanctuary city, they are not going to hand you over to the Immigration Service because you have not committed a crime. You committed a traffic violation. If you go to the hospital employee would not be required to contact the Immigration Service. If you call the fire department and say there is a fire, the fire department is not going to now discover you're illegal and call the Immigration Service. If you call the police and say I'm the victim of a crime, the police are now not going to hand you over to immigration because they found you here illegally. That is what a sanctuary is. All right, so meanwhile we had not the biggest number of calls. Usually where our calls are locked before the show starts, but I guess maybe it's Friday, the end of the summer, who knows? But if you didn't get your immigration question answered, we're going to close our lines now. But if you didn't get your immigration question answered, you can always follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. Drop me a DM. I'll try to help you as best as I can. You can also follow us on Instagram at Brad Show Live. And you can't handle 2 hours of Brad Show Live, but you can handle a minute and a half. You'll get the best 1.5 minute videos, all our top segments from our show, all in a minute and a half or less, or 2 minutes at Brad Show Live on Instagram. And Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
You guys can follow me at Yonathan Elias TV on all social media platforms. And you guys can find her at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
Exactly. Now, meanwhile, in this video, we are taking it back to pre-pandemic days when a Spar and Bernstein client who had come to us after she received a letter of removal invited us to come along with her and her husband to her citizenship ceremony. Let's watch.
My name's Joseph.
My name's Sarah.
Thanks to the law firm of Spar Bernstein, we are here today so that we can go through my wife's citizenship ceremony to become an American citizen.
I'm so excited. I'm from original country, Jordan. I came to America 2004. In the beginning of my process, the problem threw me in an ocean.
I knew when those letters started showing up, we needed a lawyer. When they say remove, that means we're taking you out. It affected us both deeply. My wife later on saw a commercial for the firm of Spar Bernstein. And I said, what have we got to lose?
Bernstein, he helps me a lot. I recommended everyone. They're not a business, they are family. They care about you, they care about your case, they care about your problem. They don't leave you until when your problem solved.
4 years later, the nightmare we were going through at the time is now over.
I will recommend it, Spar Bernstein, for everybody. When I was a teenager, I have a dream, to come to United States, and this dream grow with me. And one day my mother, when she passed away, she said, your dream will become truth one day. It's her spirit. I felt she's around me. I can live my dream in a great country without any interruption. A freedom to do anything you want. Like me, I got my medical license and I'm working. This is America, a great country.
All right, let's do something we like to call social media check-in. What do we got, guys?
All right, Pandora Bear on YouTube asks, I'm a citizen and filed the I-130 for my brother and children in Iran. My mother just filed the N-400. If she's granted citizenship, will it be better to transfer the brother's case to my mother?
Wait, go again?
So I'm a citizen and filed the I-130 for my brother and children in Iran. My mother just filed the N-400, so if she's granted citizenship, will it be better to transfer the brother's case to the
No, you can't.
mother?
There's no such thing as transfer case. So the mother can file, but it's going to be a long time.
So just keep it as
I don't know how. I don't know if this brother is married, and I don't know what her priority date is for her brother. So if she filed, for example, a decade ago, I'm sure it'll go fast. It depends what the priority dates are.
Okay.
Okay, Alim Aga on Facebook. I am a U.S. citizen filing for my father. On May 1st, I made a payment and received confirmation from the NVC. Today, I received a letter explaining that all the payments and documents have been received and to wait to schedule an interview. But only one payment, $125, is taken from my account, not the $325 visa fees. Why did this happen?
Because Trump has a prohibition on immigrant visas right now.
29 Super C on YouTube asks, any update on the litigation action case against the temporary immigration ban that was in court in Washington, D.C.?
I do not, unfortunately, have one. I don't know. They were supposed to be in court this week, but I didn't hear what happened. But obviously, it's still in place. There was no injunction. I know that.
Cindy Requena on YouTube. I received my RFE to resend my medical exam because it was expired, so they could make a final decision on my AOS, which my daughter is petitioning for me. About how long will it take for me to receive a response from USCIS? There it is.
Magic 8 Ball.
We really might need to consider this segment.
Magic 8 Ball. This woman submitted some documents to immigration, wants to know when immigration is going to respond. Will they respond by November 30th? Let's pick a date, Magic 8 Ball, because we have to ask a yes or no question. It says concentrate and ask again. I wasn't concentrating. It's Friday. Magic 8 Ball, please tell me. This woman needs to know, and only I would know. And I said I wouldn't know, but the Magic 8 Ball would know when she's going to get a letter from immigration. Will it be before November 30th? It says ask again later. Even the Magic 8 Ball doesn't even know this stuff. I'm just reading what it says.
All right. Manny on Facebook asks, if I come to the U.S. with a returning resident SB1 visa, will immigration subject me to a public charge test?
Yes, they will, because if you're out of the country for more than 6 months, you potentially could have a public charge test.
Najla Danishyar on YouTube. My dad will be a citizen in 2 years. He's gonna petition for my widowed sister and her 3 kids soon, which usually takes 5+ years. Once my dad gets his citizenship, will that make the process faster?
Only by about a year, unfortunately.
Arnett Slobo on YouTube asks, my sister had an interview more than a year ago, and we haven't heard anything yet from USCIS. It was a marriage-based interview. Can she file under the new law that was given to Liberians because she is qualified?
Yes,
we asked that.
We asked that yesterday. We're getting yesterday's questions, I think. Keep going.
Bpin Donna Wade on Facebook. If someone marries a U.S. citizen but is living in his home country and the U.S. spouse doesn't want to file papers, will this marriage be called void marriage, or are they still married? Also, can the foreign spouse file the VAWA petition on his own in this situation?
You can
Appreciate your expertise.
You can be a VAWA applicant from another country. You don't have to be physically in the United States to have been abused emotionally, or if your U.S. citizen spouse went to your home country and physically abused you, or you could have been abused emotionally. If it's a civil marriage, it's a real marriage. There's no void marriage. I mean, unless you get an annulment. I mean, you can get an annulment. I guess somebody can get an annulment and prove to a judge that it was a, marriage of convenience and business, and then a judge can give you an annulment based on the fact that it's a void marriage, but you just can't say it's a void marriage.
Okay, Chanel Simpson on Facebook asked, my wife and I have been married for approximately 1 year, and she forgot to change her last name on the joint bank account, which shows that we're living at the same physical address.
Yeah,
will this be a problem?
He called our show. I spoke to him about it. Yeah, I'm sure it's not a problem.
Okay, so this one's from Joan Conwell on Facebook. What if a daughter filed for her mother from Jamaica, and after 3 years, she is mistreating the mother in the house? The mother is unable to provide for herself due to sickness. Can there be any legal action taken against the daughter?
Yeah, there's elder abuse, and also you can file a VAWA as an abused parent by an adult child. So if the mother doesn't have a green card, she could file a VAWA case against the child who's abusing her. And then there are obvious in every state, in every jurisdiction in the United States, there's elder abuse laws for criminal conduct against that person.
Nana Ama Otiwa on Facebook asked, my sister is a 2-year green card holder. She's in removal proceedings and now she's lost her job. She would like to know if she can apply for unemployment benefits without affecting her immigration case.
I don't know what she's doing in removal proceedings. I need to know a lot more.
Okay, God's got me on YouTube. I have a pending AOS applied for EAD renewal. Got a response that they're reviewing and doing a background check. What does this mean? And can I use the receipt notice to renew my driver's license?
You can use the receipt notice to try to renew your driver's license. Your work authorization is valid for 180 days if it's pending. It means exactly what they say. They're reviewing your case. It's under review. Now, review could mean they're waiting on your fingerprints to clear. Review could mean they believe that this is not a real marriage and they'll call you back for a Stokes interview. Review could mean, you know what, you're in a pile to be reviewed and we're busy and we'll get to it eventually. So review could mean lots of different things. I think your particular question is what's going to happen. And my guess is what's going to happen is you're going to be called for a second interview and you're going to get a Stokes interview.
Okay, Amy on Facebook asked, USCIS filed an I-130 for my husband in Brazil. We know he'll be denied at his interview due to overstaying his B2 tourist visa. Are we able to file the I-601 before the interview, or do we need to wait for his denial at the interview?
If he's already out of the country, you got to wait for the denial. If he's physically in America before he leaves, you would do a 601A provisional waiver.
Bright Astuse on Facebook, I actually lost my 10-year green card and I'm thinking about applying for citizenship instead of replacing the green card. I also don't have a copy of my green card. What are your thoughts?
File your citizenship. You obviously don't need a green card because you've been living without it. And just because you lost your green card doesn't mean you're not a lawful resident. And you don't need, you just submit your citizenship, but you're a lawful resident. End of story. You just don't have evidence in that particular green card.
Okay, Olukokun Adeji on YouTube asks, why can't a green card holder who would soon be a citizen file for his spouse of 2 years living with her in the USA? Is there a law that says only citizens can file for adjustment of their spouse?
Yes, there is a law that says if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you're an immediate relative, which means that as soon as you are married and that relationship exists, you're immediately eligible for a green card. Immediate relatives who are spouses of U.S. citizens, children under the age of 21 of U.S. citizens, and parents of U.S. citizens and that U.S. citizen is over the age of 21. They're all immediate relatives, and under the law, immediate relatives are allowed to overstay on their visa and still be able to adjust. When you are married to a permanent resident, you're in the F2A category, you're a quota immigrant. There's just a certain number of green cards given out any particular year. As a quota immigrant, you either have to be 245I or in legal status to adjust your status. At this present moment, there is no quota on F2As being married to a lawful permanent resident. So as a result, you can adjust your status as long as your spouse is in legal status. Once she overstays her time, unless she's 245I, she would not be eligible to adjust her status until you become a citizen, because then she becomes an immediate relative. Make sense? Noted. Did you take that all down, Vanessa?
I was focused,
Okay.
laser focused.
Laser.
This is my notepad.
Laser.
The next one comes from Obina Nakawacha on YouTube. Sorry if I chopped that up. How does a work permit for a K-1 visa work? A work permit on arrival?
Well, you're supposed to be work authorized for 90 days when you come on a K-1, but realistically, you have to file for the work permit. It takes more than 90 days to get the work permit. So realistically, you're not going to get a work permit when you arrive on the K-1. When you get married, you file an adjustment. That's when you'll get your work permit.
Okay, Grams Dej on Facebook asked, can a retired U.S. citizen sponsor someone for a green card?
Yeah. Could be a spouse, could be a child. Maybe that retired U.S. citizen's an employer. Well, they're retired, so they can't be an employer.
Okay, the next one comes from Lord Beerus Sama on YouTube. Can I submit a new I-A64 form at the interview if my current sponsor lost his job due to COVID-19?
Yes.
Okay, Gum Pop Candace on YouTube asks, I'm a green card holder, which I achieved through marriage. If I'm convicted of aggravated assault and I have two minor children, can I still be deported? I've been in the U.S. for 2 years and I'm divorced.
If you are convicted of an assault within the first 5 years of your entry into America, that's a crime of moral turpitude unless it's a petty offense, which means that it would be a misdemeanor assault and you didn't do less than 180 days in jail. Other than that, you're going to get deported for committing a crime within your first 7 years of entry into America.
The next one comes from Miguel Vallejo on YouTube. What would hold more weight if I was found incompetent or that I have a child that needs me because his mom abandoned him?
Child or incompetent? Hold more weight for what? What are we weighing?
I wasn't sure what we're scaling.
I don't know what we're well, on one side of the scale there's incompetence.
I'm not
and
sure
on the
what
other,
the problem is in terms of the scale.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're weighing. What are we weighing?
Yeah, we're not what we're weighing.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know.
What's the scale to the question?
I don't know. I mean, they're both obviously sound like bad problems, but I don't know what we're weighing.
I was trying to think,
what?
but
why? For what? A waiver? A waiver? But I need to know more. I assume for a waiver, but I need to know a lot more.
All right, Chelsea Ann Francis on Facebook asks, immigration requires 3 tax returns, but I only have 2. What can I do from here?
File with the 2.
Donna Lindo on YouTube. I am planning to file for my daughter and her 2 children. Is it true that filing for my children first can make the process longer, or I should file for my daughter first?
Filing for her children?
Yeah, it says I am planning to file for my daughter and her 2 children.
How old is if the daughter's over 21, you include the children on your daughter's case so they'll all come together.
Avi B on YouTube asks, I'm married to a U.S. citizen, or I married a U.S. citizen in April 2019, but separated in June 2019 because of an abusive wife. My friend applied for marriage annulment, nullifying, still processing. My My friend also applied for asylum in January 2020, and I received asylum EAD in August. At present, both marriage and
Wait. We talking about his friend, or we talking about this guy? This is the first time I've ever actually heard somebody say, "I'm asking a question for a friend. I got my work permit."
I think it's for both. If we finish reading it, I think it'll go. It's a question for both of them.
All right.
I believe so. So I'll start over.
All right. So one person's getting an annulment.
Huh?
Somebody's getting an annulment.
Yeah,
so
the
do you
friend.
want me to start over?
All right, start
Do you want me
again.
to
Start
continue?
again. No, start again. Start again.
Okay. I married a U.S. citizen in April 2019, but separated in June 2019 because of an abusive wife. My friend applied for a marriage annulment, nullifying, still processing. My friend also applied for asylum in January 2020, and I received asylum EAD in August. At present, both marriage annulment asylum are pending. Are there any chances of filing and winning a VAWA case with while these are still processing and without giving up asylum EAD? Can we both apply? Asylum and VAWA at the same time?
Yeah, it is for both.
I
It sounds like
understand.
they're in
I
a
understand, but
similar
it just went back and
predicament.
forth. I understand now. Thank you, Yo-Yo. The answer is you can file a VAWA and have a pending asylum at the same time. What you can't do is file an adjustment and have an asylum at the same time. So my advice would be continue with the asylum, file the VAWA. If you're going through an annulment, fight that annulment, because an annulment means the marriage never happened and you have to prove it was a real marriage. But if the marriage never happened, then you can't prove it's a real marriage. So if you plan on filing as an abused spouse and the abuser files for an annulment, you have to defend that annulment and countersue for a divorce.
Sounds like a process. Next one comes from Bobin Guacho on YouTube. I want to know if I can use my passport, my expired green card. Wait, had I read that one? I think that seems like the same question. If my passport, my expired green card, and the receipt from USCIS to travel and come back. No, we hadn't answered that one.
You want to be able to use your expired green card to travel? You cannot. You need a stamp in your passport that says I-551, or you need a valid green card. You're not going to be allowed on the airplane.
Okay, Lord Beru Sama on YouTube asks, can I bring a new I-864 sponsor form to my interview if my current sponsor lost his job due to COVID-19?
Yes, we answered that one.
Manny Arroya Raj on Facebook. I am a green card holder who stayed out of the country for more than 6 months due to COVID, and I returned back late. Will I be subject to a public charge test?
Yes.
Even if I
have an SB1, the answer is yes. If you spend more than 6 months outside the United States, you could be subject to a public charge test. Meanwhile, we want to give you an update on the status of immigration courts here in the United States. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected every aspect of immigration, including the closing of immigration courts since March. Vanessa recently spoke with Spar Bernstein partner and immigration attorney Shannon LaGuerre to get an update on what the current status of the immigration courts are today. Let's watch.
Citizenship and Immigration Services closed the immigration court in mid-March due to coronavirus pandemic. As certain states, including New York, have started to open up again, many are wondering what the status of the courts are now. Of course, this is so important because it directly affects when cases will start moving through the system again. With me to break it all down is Spar Bernstein immigration attorney and partner, Shannon LaGuerre-Maingrette.
How are you?
Great. let's jump right into it. Are New York State's immigration courts open?
So I've been in court for Fishkill and Ulster County. Those are detained dockets. So that's a little bit further upstate. And so the way, even during the lockdown, the judges were calling us. So the detained dockets are open, continue to be open now. Varick was also open too, and they were doing mostly telephonic, but you can also appear in person. So the detained docket, people who are detained, immigrants who are detained in basically an immigration jail, they have had their court hearings going forward. That's Varick in New York. That's also Ulster County and Fishkill. As of now, the non-detained docket, which is people who are not in jail and who are basically out living their life, but they are basically in immigration court. The New York City courts are closed. They've been closed since March, and they remain closed, indicating that September looks like they may be opening. Since there's been the reopening of New York City, every week they're like, okay, we're going to open this time, we're going to open this time, and now it's September. Let's see if they do reopen.
What about New Jersey and Connecticut?
So New Jersey has reopened, but they are doing telephonic masters. So like the first initial appearances, and then also the individual hearings, you are requested to do telephonic appearances for that too. So they will call you, the judges, and basically at that point, they will conduct the hearings at that time. Connecticut is open.
Some courts are only open for filings and detained hearings. What does this mean?
So like we talked about earlier in New York with Varick and Fishkill and Ulster County, they're only doing detained dockets. That's all they're doing. So some places around the country, they are only conducting detained docket hearings because again, someone's life and liberty is at stake. They are now detained and they want to get out, right? Whether they are, released with some form of relief, whether they are deported, but people don't want to sit in jail, right? So at this point, it's really important that you have their hearings and that they be conducted in some manner. So like I said before, the judges would call me while I was on lockdown at home. They would call me on my landline at home to basically conduct the hearing. So that's for the detained docket that continues. And then also for filings, you still need to file things because we don't know when court's going to open, right? So a lot of times I had court coming up for the 26th and I had already filed something because at that point I didn't know if it was going to open or not. So I still put in all my documentation. So a lot of courts are like, okay, make sure you put in your filings. A lot of times if you miss a deadline, it's detrimental to your client. So you still want to be able to prepare your case and submit it even though the court may continue to be closed.
And where can people go to see what the status of the courts are in their states?
So basically you can just go to www.justice.gov and then after it's EOIR, which is E for executive, O for office, I for immigration, and R for review. And once you actually bring that page up, you're looking for the operational status of the immigration courts. And usually it's like the first thing that pops up when you actually put it up. And then at that point, you will look for your particular court to see what the status is.
And what is your advice to people as they navigate their immigration cases during COVID-19 pandemic?
A lot of clients are calling me very upset because a lot of them are like, well, I thought this was going to be done this year. Like I waited 3 years because a lot of times people don't realize that you're waiting 3 years before you actually have your actual hearing. So you get a final decision. And a lot of people want this over with. They want a decision, right? At that point, basically, they've waited all this time, 2 to 3 years. And here we are in this situation. And now it's being postponed and we have no idea when they'll have another hearing. So it certainly can be devastating a lot of times for many clients who have really great cases. There are other cases too where there are deadlines. People are aging out, children are aging out, and that also becomes an issue. How do you deal with this? These are the issues that are being dealt with on a daily basis. And I tell people, listen, now it's just crazy, right? You have people who are dying. They're estimating that there's going to be 300,000 people in the US that will die. And we need to be careful. You need to speak to your attorney. You need to ask them, what is the strategy? How do we move forward? Will I still be able to either keep my green card, get a green card? These are things that you need to sit down with your attorney and talk about. You also have to be patient because this is not normal, right? Because this is a whole pandemic that's affected the entire United States. And the judges' unions, the government attorneys' unions have been fighting really hard to protect their members. Because remember, when you go into court, it's a packed courtroom. I mean, everybody's on top of each other. You need to speak. It's actually a tape recorder. It's recording what the judge, what the government attorney, and what the respondent's attorney is saying. So imagine you have a mask on. It's going to be very difficult to hear. It's going to be muffled. That could be problematic moving forward. They are trying to find a way to keep everyone protected. We need to be understanding of that too, but also understanding how do we move forward from this? Will I be protected? Make sure you keep in contact with your attorney, because if somehow you're depending on a qualifying relative where that person's going to age out, then you need to speak to the attorney. What can we do? Because I need to make sure that I'm able to get this green card or this level of relief. Very important to speak to your attorney during this time.
Everything else we're facing during this pandemic, it's just adjusting to these new norms, even with our immigration processing. Shannon, thank you so much for all this great information. To get in touch with Shannon or any of our other talented attorneys here at Spar Bernstein, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465.
Let's do something. What do we do? Speed round. Speed round, right? I was about to go back to social media check-in. It's speed round. All right, guys, you ready?
You did.
All right. Let me concentrate. It's the end of the week. It's my last 9 immigration questions of the week. That's actually not true because I'm going to be working tomorrow. All right, but the last 9 questions of the week on this show.
Okay, let's make it good, Yo-Yo.
There you go.
Are courts closed for non-detained hearings in Georgia?
Oh, I don't even know the answer to that. I think the answer is yes. It's closed.
Can I be deported for a crime dating back 14 years ago?
Yes.
Does USCIS still give info pass appointments?
Only on emergency basis.
Why is USCIS taking so long with VAWA?
Because there's so many filed and they don't have a lot of people there, and COVID and Donald Trump.
Is it mandatory for me to attend the interview with my dad to adjust the status?
Yes.
Is there a new filing fee for the EAD renewal application?
In October.
Can I get a gun? Can I get a gun license if I'm a permanent resident?
Yes.
Do they assign visa category at the time you enter the U.S.? Come on. Do they assign the visa category at the time you enter the U.S.?
Your visa category is assigned as soon as you file your I-130.
And what would have been the last one before the whole thing blew up, Yo-Yo?
Divorced my wife and married a man. Can I still go to the AOS with my wife filed?
No, you married a man. So now
you divorced her. You're not married
to her. You're not married to
her
her anymore. You got to file a new adjustment application based on your marriage to your new man. Comments of the day, Yo-Yo and Vanessa. Comments of the day.
Let's make it good, Yo-Yo. Brad is not having this.
Go ahead. Go first.
The first comment of the day comes from Life of a New Mom, Sasha and AJ Ford. Squad up. I added the first like on YouTube. Headed to Facebook now. Nice.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Our second comment of the day comes from Mr. Skyline saying, "Hey, Brad, I'm starting to enjoy you in my living room every day. Happy Friday."
All right. Well, thank you.
Our next comment of the day comes from Getaway Kath, and she says, "Lovely to see you guys every day. Hashtag all the love from the Philippines."
Oh, very
cool.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I like when we hear
All
from
right,
people
our
around
next
the world.
comment of the day. Next comment of the day comes from Elizabeth Francis saying, "Uncle Brad is the best immigration lawyer. He listens and gives the best advice. I'm positive that 99% of the callers confide in Uncle Brad more than their own lawyer."
possible.
It's true.
It's possible.
We see it time.
It's possible. How many times do we
see it
hear?
episode and episode again.
How many times do we hear? My lawyer's doing this. Should he be doing this, or she be doing
Right.
this? Right. We hear that all the time. All right. Well, thank you. Oh, there's more.
There was the last one.
Oh.
There was one more.
Okay.
From Tracy Lacey, and she says, I love when Uncle Brad asks the Magic 8-Ball questions. He's so funny. I'm telling you, we need to do something about that.
Well, you know, I don't know the answer. I got to ask the Magic 8-Ball. I got to ask somebody, right? I don't know the answer. All right. With that, everybody have a great weekend. Just a programming note. I'm around next week in my office, so I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. But I had to give the crew behind this wall a week off. So we're going to see you the Tuesday after Labor Day, Tuesday, September 8th. See you then. Have a great weekend. Have a great rest of the summer. Please stay safe. We'll see you in about 8 or 9 days from now. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465.